Hello, and welcome to Moving Through Menopause. And today it is World Menopause Day. We are here to celebrate. Say hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be here with the Menopause Collective. We are almost all here together today, and I'm so thankful and grateful. Thank you so much to everyone for coming along. We're going to talk essential oils, nutrition. We're going to get a plan for how we move forwards. We've got some wisdom from June, and Tamar is going to make sure that we're all on message. So let's thank you so much and welcome to the collective today. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. So we kind of decided amongst ourselves that today would be a celebration of menopause. That is, this opportunity for us to maybe reinvent ourselves, perhaps to think about this as a new phase of development, a new phase of our lives when we've got the opportunity to revisit some things that we used to do maybe, or find some entirely new things to be getting busy with. So I'm really, this is something that I'm doing my best to work at for myself. And that's because, do you know what? I'm such a creature of habit. Habits are something that we have almost without even knowing it. And, we're going to put aside all the symptoms that we might feel during menopause today, because, for the most part, the more we think about it, the more we'll feel it and the worse it's going to be. So let's kind of put that to the side for today. And we're going to think about this new phase, Claire, this new phase of our lives. How do we embrace this new phase?
Well, we start to look at it as a rebirthing opportunity as opposed to a mourning experience. There is mourning on some level because obviously your reproductive system has withered and dried. And so some people feel really sad about that. But if you look at this as an opportunity, this final transition for growth, personal development, your body is once again your own. You're not tied. I mean, you still have cycles, but they're not going to be perhaps as fraught as they were previously. Your boat will be a lot calmer on the seas of tranquility. The cycle will probably realign with the moon. So you don't have a lot of the gubbins that go with having regular menstruation. So that's something to celebrate. And also possibly your children are grown or kind of a little bit more independent. So this is the time for you and rebirth. And we see this as the Crone phase, which is when kind of the autumn of your life, when you get the final throw of the dice to follow up things that really genuinely interest you. And we have that famous saying that women are like a fine wine, they become richer with age. And that's because we remain interested in things and we want to learn more about life. So I would say this is a really important transformative opportunity to be seen in a positive light once you get all your symptoms managed naturally, so that they don't hold you back anymore. And your symptoms are often a sign that you do need to make changes. You cannot continue with those habits that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, this is so wonderful, isn't it? A whole new phase of life. And so the wisdom that we've been generating all this time, June, I know you've got a lot of wisdom.
Well, I still think there are so many things to learn. I mean, I don't think by any stretch at this phase we're finished with our learning. However, it's nice to think that, I'm with Claire on this about the wise elder woman in the tribe, as it were. I mentioned the word crone to somebody recently, and they went, ooh, I just don't like that word. It's like an old witch. And I thought, okay, maybe we need to find a different word, like a wise, respected elder, something like that. But someone who's still wants to continue learning and growing. We don't stop, do we? We carry on, and it is about trusting our body, listening to our body. That's, from my perspective, I'm always telling people to listen to their bodies. And it seems like a lot more people are doing now. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting more of that age group. I'm not really sure. But trusting your intuition, because when we're younger, our intuition gets shut down by other people's comments, other people's criticisms. And I think as we get older, we go, no, you shut up. I'm listening to me. We don't have to say it out loud. We just have to go, okay, thank you for your opinion in the most polite way.
Yeah,
but I'm listening to myself. Yeah.
This is entirely it, isn't it? And I think Tamar's alluded to that in the past, that, maybe it's a time for new hobbies, new friends, new houses, this whole idea that we could be free to reinvent ourselves should we choose to do so, Tamar.
Yeah, we call it a rebranding. So I've come across ladies that aren't so keen on the Crone phase, although we know that's what it is. So we talk about it as the goddess phase, where you start owning yourself and who you are. You own your body. You just own it generally. A huge shift in who am I now and what's next. And there's an ownership of that. Actually, the next phase can be whatever I want it to be. It's no longer driven by reproduction or marriage or the job I'm in. This is a time for making those changes.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes we get in our own way with this. Like I was saying to you, my habits form every day. We don't even realize a lot of times that we go about our lives in this unconscious state. And that, if we give ourselves permission to maybe just, even if you're just going on a walk today, walk it in the reverse direction, do something different, sit in a different chair in the living room as you're having your, evening relaxation. Pick up the phone to somebody you haven't spoken to for ages. Lots of, house cleaning, clearing out. And you know what, on the theme of clearing out, we were talking about fiber, Shirley. And if you want a good clear out, what do you say?
Yeah, no, I was going to just bring this into the conversation because so many ladies that I see have got very low fibre in their diet. And you might wonder, obviously, I think a lot of people know that it's a good clearer out, as Philippa puts it. But it's so needed for helping to balance blood sugar levels. And if you help to balance your blood sugar levels, you're going to have a more balanced mood. You're going to have a more balanced level of physical energy, which at this transition time in our lives is really important. And most people, and these are UK stats, on average, most people are eating, if they're lucky, about 15 grams of fibre a day, and that's that's on a good day. The recommended daily amount is 30 grams, so you can quickly see that we're quite deficient in that. Now, as well as balancing blood sugar levels, as well as helping with moving food effectively through the digestive tract. And let's not forget that means we're going to have a more efficient digestive tract and get the energy released effectively from our food. Additional fibre is also going to keep us fuller for longer. So it helps with satiety. And that's really important from a weight management point of view, because a lot of women will unfortunately experience additional weight gain. And can be a lot of weight gained around the middle. This is quite common for a lot of women moving into and during menopause. So, yeah, from a fibre point of view, it can be really helpful to help with weight management and to, as I said earlier, balance mood and physical activity level, physical energy levels as well. Yeah. So good fibre-rich foods, you want to be going down the whole grain routes. So none of your sort of white pasta, white bread, white rice, because all the fibre's been removed. Best to go for your brown rice. Wild rice is great fiber levels. Red rice, and it looks great. It's really sort of vibrant when you put it on the plate as well. And packing in the vegetables. Vegetables are such a good source of fiber, and beans and lentils. So if you don't have many beans or lentils in your life, go out and start adding some to your dishes. Soup, stew season we're coming into now. Perfect to add in.
I think that's, like you just said, if you don't have a lot of beans or lentils in your life, maybe something new, try something new, do something different, dig out a recipe that you've never had before.
Indeed.
And, and I think that's really important what you talk about, this sustained energy release, because, if we're feeling drained, tackling some of the symptoms, we're going to feel more depleted, but actually making this transition to take a shift requires energy. We're going to need that energy for thought and for movement. And so, Nikki, I know you're really keen to empower women to grasp the nettle and discover new passions and to move beyond this stage of, worrying or feeling down about the whole menopause affair, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a quote that I came across that I absolutely love, which is that it was by a lady called Frances Lear, and it's, I believe the second half of one's life is meant to be better than the first half. The first half is finding out how you do it, and the second half is enjoying it, and it's absolutely true. And I think that, what happens is that we get through some of our initial early challenges in life and sort of start to feel like we figure out what we know what's going on. And then all of a sudden we get hit with menopause, and all we hear is the negativity, right? We have all these symptoms that are going on that challenge us and interrupt our life and our quality of life. And everywhere we turn and we read, the word menopause has negative connotations that come with it. We still have the stigma around it. But actually, it's a great opportunity, really, to turn the negative into a positive, and to try and cut through all those things. If you approach a lot of the challenges that we have with a more positive mindset anyway, then it's going to be a lot easier to deal with and live with and manage a lot of the symptoms that we've got. But certainly, it's absolutely, for me, a time when women should be starting to prioritize themselves. Absolutely. They've put others first for so long, and now it really is time to prioritize you and prioritize your health, and to decide what you want this next 30, 40 years. It's a big chunk of life, what you want it to be, and and what you want it to mean to you, and how you want to live it to the fullest extent.
So we're turning a negative into a positive. And so there are things that we can do to help us with that. If you tend to be a bit like I'm like, the cup half, and I can never remember if it's full or empty, but anyway, do you know what I'm saying?
Empty.
Yeah, cup half empty, that's the word. So, Claire, I bet there are some really good essential oils to help us with feeling uplifted and positive.
Absolutely. I would be looking to frankincense for menopausal ladies to feel uplifted, because of its effect on the neurochemistry in our body. And it's a grounding oil, but also a refreshing oil. So it's got a beautiful kind of citrusy kind of vibe in amongst all that woodiness. So that is a really good transitional oil. It's also fabulous as an anti-aging oil. I'd also be looking to geranium, which is empowering in terms of feelings of self-love, self-acceptance, and hormone balancing. Other oils that are good are things like spikenard, helichrysum. I know all these names, but the thing is that, again, as I always say with essential oils, it's down to the individual and what particularly works for them, what they like the smell of and want to dive into and basically bathe in, and then they know they found the right one.
Well, I thank you, Claire. I'm sorry for being somewhat distracted. My husband decided to join me on World Menopause Day and let me know that a company that he's had dealings with, BAE Systems,
Yeah.
it's a defence company. Global, apparently, he said. Well, I think you probably heard it. And the following World Menopause Day, he was so excited he couldn't but come and tell me all about this. So well done, BAE Systems. You're getting a mention live with the Menopause Collective. But it is important that employers get behind these. This idea that women are productive. Well past menopause, and June, that wisdom. I keep coming to you, and I don't know why. But, we want to be energized, and, you are the most amazing, productive person, working all the hours, helping people all the time. And you need energy for that, June. Where do you get yours from?
Well, I use a variety of methods. I use aromatherapy oils. I use My Touch for Health. I use acupuncture points. I use homeopathy. I have reflexology. And I have never had so many treatments in all my life as I've had now, because I'm allowing myself to look after me. I mean, I hit the menopause ages ago, but it didn't bother me. I went straight through it, probably because I was too busy to notice. That's nothing to do with me. I'm just allowing on. So now I'm slowing down and I'm taking stock. And I think it's really interesting what you said, Shirley, about the beans, because I get a lot of people going, "Oh, I can't eat more beans because of the flatulence situation." But somebody pointed out, I mean, I use different things with cooking my pulses, but somebody pointed out rosemary is very good to put in with your beans. And I think a lot of people might quite like that idea, because it adds a certain, I love rosemary. I love rosemary oil, and I love rosemary flavor. So that's a useful thing to add in.
Yeah,
rosemary is rosemary is amazing, and all the oily herbs. And they come into their own at this time of year. So you've got sage, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and they're all evidenced as very good sources of antibacterial and antivirals.
Yeah.
Which is very important for this time of year, and obviously with what's been going on as well for the past couple of years. So so real big fan of those, and they just bring such a lovely natural flavor as well. And so brewing a couple of those leaves, just chopping up a couple of those leaves in some hot water and making a tea is just a great thing to do at this time of year.
Oh yeah, Claire's all over that one, aren't you, Claire? So, for me, I think I have had a journey with mental health, and, the hardest thing sometimes is to kind of chivvy yourself along when you really feel just about the least like it. And this is something that I have experienced. However, I also have experienced the benefits of chivvying yourself along. So, the idea that movement stimulates us and the changes the neurochemistry. And so this has been my crutch, maybe you might want to call it. But now it's something that I absolutely like you say, June, the thing I make time for in my life is to move on a regular basis, to do my yoga, Pilates, weight training, get out into the fresh air and go for long walks. And so moving can really help to turn the tide, and actually it might be just even as simple as giving yourself a pat just to wake yourself up a bit, to do some deep breathing. Even just 6 deep breaths can change the neurochemistry. And so, Tamar, some, strategies for people who are finding it hard to, because it is easy for us to say, and we know it isn't always easy to do. Do you have any suggestions?
So one breathing technique that I learned quite recently when I was having a bad day and everyone was really irritating me was 2 breaths in through the nose and then 1 out through the mouth, and just repeating that 3 times. And it just kind of calmed my nervous system right down when I was kind of like this. So that's a good one if you're feeling a bit het up. There are grounding techniques for when you kind of get that panic. I know people, with menopause, anxiety and panic often comes along. So there's several sort of grounding techniques you can use that just kind of bring you back into your body. So they're using the 5 senses. So something you can see, something you can hear, something you can smell, something you can take, one for everything. And if you use this quite a lot, then carry things like strong mints or fisherman's friends for the taste, and maybe a small rock in your pocket for the, have things prepped and ready to go. There's a counting backwards from 100 in 3s, because the concentration that takes, exactly. It stops everything else because you're so focused on trying to get the numbers. That's a really good one, especially if numbers is not your thing. I like that one.
Yeah, that would definitely get me. I mean, a strategy, a technique to just stop you in your tracks and create a shift. I've been reading a really good book lately, audio version, called Untethered Soul. Is this one you're familiar with? Oh, it's a really good read, and so our habits create our confines in a way. And so breaking free of habits, noticing them is the first trick, isn't it really, Nikki? If you've got unhelpful strategies or habits that you adopt without even noticing, the first thing that we need to do is to start to become more aware of these things.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, the very definition of a habit really is that it's something that you're doing unconsciously or subconsciously, and therefore you don't necessarily recognize that you're doing it. And so that obviously makes it harder to adjust. Hence the reason why it's good to work with somebody who can support you through that, for example, because they will ask you questions and give you insights and realizations into what you're doing that perhaps you hadn't even necessarily, really clocked what you were doing particularly. But it's certainly, a great stage of life, and definitely the time of life when we need to relook at our habits and our lifestyle and our behaviors, and just to adapt, tweak, change a few of them that aren't serving us, so that we can move into that phase of being the healthiest that we can be for the long term, right? The change in these habits is about setting ourselves up for great long-term health. And it's never too early to start doing that, to be fair.
No, it's never too early, and you know what? It's never too late. So, this is the perfect time. If you are in any doubt, if you needed any encouragement, then this is why we're here, to help and to support and to guide and to share our experiences and to share our knowledge and to help you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And this is a journey, it's not a destination. We're not going to get there tomorrow. The clock is ticking, but we'll try and forget about that. So, to really grasp this stage of life with enthusiasm, with a whole new set of goggles, even, and create some new habits, create some new experiences. If there's something you always thought you wanted to do but were too afraid to, then, find a friend and do it with them. Because this is just, could be, should be the time of our lives. So I know you're all in it with me, and we're all here together trying to, like I said, give it big uns. So let's give it big uns and have a fabulous rest of World Menopause Day, everybody. And thank you so much for your time today. Take care now. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.